Let's win them all. Let's just win them all. Why not? 6-10, 6-10. Let's go. I feel very fucking good about our spot right now. Come on, calling with Queen Jack. Come on, get there. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a good series. What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 2 of the 1K Championship event. We come in 2 of 82 on the bubble today. I believe 63K. No, that's not right. Is it more or is it fewer? Yeah, 63 cash. So we're about 19 out of the money right now. We find ourselves in a pretty medium-sized pot. A little bit awkward given bubble play. We currently hold the third nuts, and I don't think it's good, to be quite frank. This situation was the large stack open, small blind defends. We defend out of the big. Flop checks through. He bets small on the turn, like quarter pot we call. We're now facing about half pot, a little less, 45% pot. I mean, we have to make a crying call here, I think, but I expect to see the queen or the jack of spades just about always. Yeah, that makes sense. Very unfortunate that he didn't 3-bet. Don't know what the hell is going on there. We're still 20 out of the money. This is like not a spot to play queens conservatively. And we get max punished for it. Probably could make a pretty exploitative fold there. Certainly folding a 9 or worse. And probably always calling with a jack. Although it's not like he's value betting a 10. Well, this gets a little bit precarious now as we face a large open here out of Arnold Slick. I think we just still have to pretty much play 3-bet fold. We do have him covered. This is the bubble or so. This just looks like a hand that wants to commit to the big blind, but I don't really think it has to be ace-king plus. He did just have queens the previous hand, not that that really matters, but we saw him play that rather slow. So this could be indicative of him like overprotecting middling equity. We should have a fair amount of forward equity here against a pretty wide array of hands. Not sure what he's going to do with hands like jacks, 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s. Do know that he's probably ripping with queens, kings, and aces. So we'll just be folding to a shove there. And we recoup those chips that we had just previously lost, or at least most of them anyway. Weird format to the tournament. So 24% of the field carried through to... Well, actually, that's not true. That's not true. I can't recall what the thing was. It was 23% of the field or 17 levels, whichever came first. I assume that everybody got down to the 23% because it looks like we came into today about 23 out of the money with a total player pool of 266 plus 45 reentries, so 310 total. So it actually looks like they're paying 20% of the field, which sucks. That's a lot. That's a lot to be paying for sure. Definitely takes away from first place. So the prize pool with about 300 players, roughly 300K in the prize pool. First place indicative of that, about 20% there. It's actually not too bad. That's pretty reasonable, I think. It just sucks. The min cash is obviously useless. We get $1,100, so we're not exactly going to be too worried or concerned about bubble play or really any ICM until we get down to final table bubbles. That said, other people will be concerned. I'm sure there are a lot of satellite winners here, as we saw with Arnold Slick flatting the small with queens in a spot where he's covered. I mean, that's just a play for it situation, in my opinion. If he had 10s or 9s, sure, makes some sense. It's another reason why I think we can call in that spot too, because he shouldn't really have a lot of Queen X with a spade. Maybe like Ace Queen off and King Queen off. I think that those hands probably VPIP, so he probably has those in full, as they probably don't do a lot of 3-betting, although King Queen would serve as a pretty good 3-bet bluff in that situation. Anyway, neither here nor there. It does work itself out where we basically just swap chips those two particular hands. Shout out to everybody who's here early. We appreciate you as always. Big day today. Would love to ship this one, make this trip worthwhile. We also have the 3K high roller, the $3,200 high roller tomorrow. I'm going to be out in those streets for sure. Basically, I made my decision on if I made day 2 of the 1K, I would just stay through the high roller. If I didn't make day 2 of this, I was on the first flight out. Oh, man. Okay, these spots are annoying in semi-bubble scenarios. It's really just annoying because I'm not sure how this person's playing. Far less so than it's just like annoying to me. My hand in a non-bubble scenario is just going to play pure call. So I think I'm just going to react that way as is, given that we just don't know and this sizing isn't exactly great. We pose a... I mean, we have the exact same stack. So we pose the same threat to him as he poses to us. May as well make it hard on him and force a lot of post-flop scenarios where we still have a 3 SPR. Okay, we're facing a 20% pot bet. It's actually pretty okay on this texture. We will have a float. Seven of diamonds is of no improvement to us. We do have the ace of diamonds, so we could potentially have a river bluff, but if check to, we will not have a bet. We'll have worse hands to bet here and better hands to bet. We'll have our pocket pairs that we'll want to protect. We'll have some of our king high, queen highs that may have floated. Facing a double barrel now, we're just going to be forced to give up. It's a pretty solid line here. Take note, I would imagine he came in today as the chip leader, and he took a really crisp line there. So I expect this to be a relatively good player, whereas I expect Arnold to be more of a satellite winner, slightly conservative. A little bit of a stack change to us, handcuffs us a little bit more now on the bubble, but we were already going to be handcuffed due to the presence of this stack to our left anyway. Three-way all in. 2 deaths. Maybe not. Ace King might have been the short stack. Nope, 2 deaths. Oh no, 1 death. Only 1 death. Peaches had them both covered. $18 of 77 now. Huge bottleneck up top in chips, as you can see. We came into the day with 55 blinds. The levels have gone up once already. Further lowering our stack. I think we started the day with about 105,000. So we've lost about 10 blinds according to the level now. So our start of day stack size was worth about 45 blinds at this juncture. My man, you need therapy is Up at the top in the chip counts, he's kind of separated himself with nearly 100 blinds now. And to give you an idea, this 55 blind stack here is actually 4th in chips. So not a whole lot separating middle of the pack from the chip lead. Today's levels are longer. They're 15 minutes instead of the 12 that we've been playing on the first 2 days, or on all the day ones. So that does give us a little bit more room to be patient. We are going to be a middling stack on the bubble, so not a lot that we can take advantage of. Basically, we'll be able to open when he's in the small blind and a little bit more freely, as well as in the big blind. I don't think he'll be doing too much big blind 3-betting when we represent such a large chunk of the stack. Otherwise, we're just going to have to be patient and wait for good hands. I will probably play a lot more according to Chip EV, though, on this bubble. Particularly if he does continually try to pressure us. Like now that Ace Jack at 35 bigs probably shifts from a call to a jam. Bubble's going awfully quick. We started today 25 to the money. We're now 9 to the money. Now 8 to the money. Sounds like Bet on Drew's also up in the chip counts. Shout out to him. He'll be partaking in Poker Out Loud next week, the one that we're filming for YouTube. Clear fold here. Chose an appropriate size that time. Not really sure what to make of the previous large size since he did just have a raise fold. Perhaps it was a weaker portion of his range where he was just trying to get a steal through. This guy's sitting out. How many blinds does he have? We can't see. Why can't we see? Shouldn't I be able to hover and see here? Like, what does he have? Oh, let's just look him up. he has dust. He has less than a big blind. My man is really trying to limp his way in. 5 out of the money, he actually might do it, though. He literally may do it. Godspeed. I never go. It's kind of genius, actually, because if nobody has the information without looking at the lobby as to how many chips he has, then, I mean, the thing is, like, anybody who's close to bubbling will be paying close attention, and they can just pull up his table and see he's sitting out. Okay, I think this is a good spot for us to attempt to steal. We have a reasonable hand to do so as well. And we win. Three out of the money. We are going on break. I am going to give you some good old-fashioned solve for why content. What do you guys want to see today? Let's see. Let's pull it up. Let's keep with to be determined.
Maybe you've even had some success at some level. The idea that you can make a living and get into this world has to be pretty appealing.
I was doing well for a long time before I considered myself a professional. I really just decided I was a professional because I wasn't doing anything else.
It was never a conscious decision, I think. This is what I want to do as a career. I didn't go to high school, I didn't go to college, and I sort of realized I guess I'm kind of a professional poker player. I guess it's sort of what I do.
Full house, Chris Moneymaker eliminates Sam Farhall, and in a very swift and unlikely manner is atop the poker world.
This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable.
Okay, right now it's 12 p.m. I normally go to Sands about, say, 3 to 4 days a week, depending on how the sessions are going. And I didn't go yesterday, but I'm going today. I went to Sands Monday and Tuesday also, which went all right. But I'm slightly up a little bit this week, not too much, which is annoying because I've put in about, I think, 20 hours so far. At nighttime, it's a little quicker because there's less traffic, but we should be all right at this time. So I predict we get there in about an hour.
And then you play it for how long?
I normally don't like to play more than 6 hours a session. So anywhere within 6 hours. Sometimes I set a goal, and if I'm able to reach that goal within the time frame, I'll just get up and leave. And I get some slack for that sometimes because I'm told that I should just sit there and just grind the whole session. However, I've done that many times and ended up like losing the profits that I'm up, and then I just spent the whole day at the casino with nothing to show for it.
Oscar's someone I've known personally for a pretty long time now. We both come from New Jersey. We both lived in North Bergen, New Jersey. That's right across the river from New York City. And as far as poker was concerned, a couple years back, maybe like 5-6 years ago from today, it was a pretty like booming scene. Like there was a lot of underground games running around town, and we used to just circuit them. Neither of us were really that good as it pertains to just being overall good at poker, but I think that as it ranked in terms of like skill comparatively to the field, Oscar and I were a little bit ahead of the curve, and because of that we ended up becoming friends.
I used to play the game in Jersey City where I used to deal, and Christian was being put into the game. The guy would put him in for like 1,000 and he would cash out like 4 or 5 grand every night. I was watching him raise a lot, I was watching him 3-bet a lot, and I was just like, wow, this kid's like must be nice, you know, you're just catching the cards, right? And he would just like nod at me and say, yeah, you know, I'm catching the cards. But then like I saw him like show down one hand, it wasn't like a good hand, but he won the pot. It was like, I don't even remember the exact hand, but I know like I was surprised that there was that much money in there and he had this hand. And that's when I knew that, you know, he was doing something different and that his studying and his working was paying off. And I had fell behind all those years that I wasn't studying.
Whatever drove me at the time to want to be better than Oscar, I feel like there's somebody out there with that same commitment to want to be better than me, and I don't want them to catch me. And I don't think Oscar has that kind of like fire yet. He's seen me charge people to get help from me, and he has the ability to get it for no cost, and he still chooses not to. And what I've begun to understand is simply that I don't think he knows where to begin.
So me and my sister were really close. My mother passed away when we were young. And yeah, between me and my father, it's tough raising a girl when you're two guys, you know? And she's been through a lot of tough times in her life. I got into a car accident a couple years ago, and I received some money from that. And I could have just taken the money and moved somewhere and just like try to pursue poker 100%, which, I don't know, some people told me I should have done that. But seeing my sister struggle and me being so close with her, and she had her first child passed away for SIDS at 9 months old. And yeah, she's been struggling through her life a lot. So like when I got the settlement, I decided to I talked to my father, and because I didn't have any credit, I told him if he wanted to like join and get a house, something that like could be within the family. And I mean, my sister works and everything, and like she supports my nephew herself. But it's good to like, you know, be able to like give them stuff that like I didn't have growing up. Like I didn't have much growing up.
No diga eso, Cristian. No diga esto.
Down.
Versus your underdog wins.
Well, let's talk about a few things. So if you 3-bet with ace.
All right, we're back and we got it. We got it, baby. The old king and the queen. Okay, very easy open for us. Also a good spot to be doing so with him in the small blind. Wins. Still not hand for hand. That's interesting. I think we have to attempt to open here. We're close enough in stack here, and this hand is a must open. When folded to, I think we can make a conservative fold if Zombo opens. Zombo is like sitting out. If he finds the 3-bet here, God bless him. Yeah. It's a pretty good 3-bet. Actually, the sizing is going to price us in. Again, we're going to play chip EV style on this bubble. I don't think that $1,100 cash is really meaningful enough to pass on plus EV spots. It's a good flop. We will be playing for it. Slightly larger C-bet than I would have expected. Pretty good nevertheless. think we just continue through a call. This should elicit a check. We should be much more around this board texture than he is. I don't really think our hand can block without a spade. I think we would mostly be checking here at 1 SPR. And we shouldn't face many jams, but when we do, we're sadly going to have to fold. Pretty easy spot for him to overbluff, but we just have all of our 7x to call with, as well as all of our backdoor flushes, which would be 8x of spades, 6x of spades. Ah-ya! Oh, that's gut-wrenching, man. That is gut-wrenching. So frustrating. We're on the stone bubble now. We should be hand for hand. Yeah, it's frustrating because I know he's light there, but check raising flop. Check raising flop's actually fine, to be quite honest. It's just unnecessary, I guess, when we have the backdoor. We could have for sure. Okay, we are hand for hand. That would have been a nice one to pick up, I gotta tell you. Bradley Little says, in your opinion, what is a proper ROI on a 1-3 session, 1 to 3 hours? That's not how you measure ROI. You would just measure it by your hourly. So you can't look at a 1 to 3 hour sample size. You need to look at thousands of hours. I would say that given how high the rake is, anybody who's making like $15 to $25 an hour is doing pretty well. 30 is probably like the upper tier. Brendan Kennedy got all the answers. He says people that quote-unquote teach poker through books and classes are always losing players. Berkey is bankrolled and has a poker business, and I guarantee he's a huge losing player, else he would just play. You know, believe it or not, there's only so much money you can make from poker, number one. And number two, there's a lot more to life than just grinding hours. So by your assertion, not only am I a losing player, but Phil Gelfond's a losing player, Fedor Holtz is a losing player, Ben CB is a losing player, Dominic Nietzsche is a losing player. Who else? Who else is it? Doug Polk is a losing player. Ryan Fee is a losing player. All of us who have made millions of dollars in this game, obviously losing players. I'll let that sentiment speak for itself. We are in the money now. So this is an open. Man, that King 8 would have been a huge swing in our favor. My man wants to attack. Of course, this is a pure call versus the size. And now we get it in. Should face a very small c-bet here, like 2.6, 2.8. Very large c-bet. So he's unlikely to fold. Good luck us, Godspeed, let's do it. No real reason to just call. SPR is too low. Deuce for the win. Let's go. Let's go. Nice to hold there when it matters. We breathe again. We breathe easy. who is? I'm going insane. Five of 59. Ooh, 4x. You take it, my man. You take it. Do 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 do. Just to show you how tight it is, we were just 4 of 59. We folded our... What happened? Oh, we got moved. So we folded our big blind and immediately fell from 4 to 59 to 8 of 59. But we got moved to a really nice spot. We have the left of You Need Therapy. Shout out to my man Soul Brunson. He's been getting tagged in all of my threads this week. Seems like someone worth rooting for. Big fan favorite on Twitter. We've played with a lot of these guys throughout the week. Move Blanket, I have a note on that I can't seem to figure out how to read. How do we read it? How do we read it? Oh, that's Bet on Drew. Okay. So we have Bet on Drew to our left. You Need Therapy, who I'm assuming is a pretty good player, and the current chip leader to our right. Soul Brunson, somebody who is apparently a grinder because everyone knows who he is. I believe I played with Army Wife this week, but I don't remember anything about his or her play. And I definitely played with Tough Fish because I made a Tough Fish joke. But again, don't remember anything about his or her play. Wow, that is a big pot for a 9. Gotta tell you. Their wicked desire for you, my love. For you, my love. Yeah, the Jack 9 versus King 8 was very unlucky, but we should be happy that it was the Jack of Spades and not a different Jack, because he may have gone thin for value, and we would have had a very difficult time folding on like the Jack of Spades. Or sorry, the Jack of Clubs. Let's see if the guy who was sitting out made it. I don't think he did. Oh man, the Stone Bubble Boy was solved for Why Not? Oh man, that is tragic. I'm so sorry to see it. Did this guy cash? I think he did. His name was Oh Snap I Call, right? If so, he's actually still in with an ante. No, he has more than an ante. He has a big blind. Oh yeah, he had more chips than I realized. He had more. I thought he had less than a big blind. He actually had like 10 big blinds. Or slightly less. He had like 7 big blinds. S for Why Not. GG, my man. As a consolation, whoever S for Why Not is, if you can find a way to get a hold of me, I will ship you a t-shirt. Assuming you're not trolling. Actually, even if you are trolling, it's fine. If you find a way to get a hold of me, the t-shirt's yours. Whoa. Wedding song. All right, we're cruising right along. Top 10 in chips, 57 remaining. We're just going to be patient, play good poker, you know? Everybody buckle up and enjoy the ride. Brendan Kennedy says, really multiple revenue streams, huh? If he was making enough profit, he wouldn't need backers. I haven't had a backer in 5 years, man. Made a lot of money in that big game for my backers and for myself. You need backing when you play $1 million buy-ins, man. I hate to break it to you. Brother Bill, can you tell me, please, where do you run? New content released today. If you are a member of Salt for YTV, head on over. The latest On Second Thought is up. It's a hand played between Lin G and Jeremiah Williams. Spot where Jeremiah is at bottom of range on river and pretty much forced into a bluff, where Lin has an optimistic bluff catcher of sorts. We pick through there, see where they got it right, see where they got it wrong. Really fascinating hand, in my opinion. Fun one to comb through. Check that out. If you're not a member of Salt for YTV, good news. You can be a member for nothing. For the next 2 weeks, I guess, we are doing a promotion. Just use the sign-up code FREEMONTHAUG, and you will get 30 days free of the subscription site. At this depth, we're mostly going to play call here. I think we're just going to play call pure, given how deep the big blind is as well. It just opens up too many cold 4-bet opportunities. Whereas here, he's much more probable to take his price. I think we can work some traps in here as well. 3 ways we actually may have a lead range here. And with this particular hand having no backdoor property, I think it's pretty reasonable. We do block the nuts, which is a critical aspect to having a lead range here. This is unfortunate, but actually probably better than facing a bet, a call, and then giving him the opportunity to raise. We have a very clear bluff catcher now. Interesting turn of events on the turn. We should either face a check or a relatively large bet. I would think something in the neighborhood of 66% pot, which we're going to have to continue to. Okay, check makes a lot of sense. We have plenty of 7x in range. I believe this is a pretty good spot for us to start block betting and getting value from worse. I think we're going to go somewhere in the neighborhood of 40% pot. We would include some of our pair plus 7x in this blocking range, as it kind of prevents him from having much to call with, as well as some of our 10-7, though I don't really think we have much 10-7. Pure bluff, I guess? Must have been a hand like 10-8 that he's choosing to raise there, which is fine. Hard and harder to believe, yes. Hard and harder to believe. Hey Matt, what do you think of this software versus the WSOP Nevada software? This is a massive upgrade. I'm looking forward to it getting implemented elsewhere. I'm not sure what the timeline will be for it to go to New Jersey and Nevada. Maybe 6 months, maybe a year. Who knows? But it will make it there eventually, and I'm very excited for it. Really clean, really crisp. Haven't really run into too many problems. A couple aesthetic things, like if somebody's sitting out, you can't see their stack size. That's kind of annoying. But functionally, it's pretty great. So yeah, new on second thought out today. Tomorrow, the Mid-Stakes Bible launches, the course that everybody's been heavily anticipating. Lesson 1 will be live on the Solve for Why subscription site tomorrow. We're hopeful to get out one lesson this week, one lesson next week. Then there's going to be a small hiatus to get out Landon's course. And then I'm going to start dropping them again, hopefully 2 at a time. It really just comes down to production. We're kind of overworked at this point, to be quite honest. It really just is because we're filming Poker Out Loud next week, and we're going to have a rush to get the new season out in time for Labor Day. So there's like a 4-week stretch where production's spread a little bit thin, and because of that, the drops are going to come a little bit slower. But the hopes are that we're going to get you the first 2 installments of the Mid-Stakes Bible. Then we're going to drop Landon's course on c-bet sizes and flop textures. So it's going to be a strong heuristics course, utilizing PO and some academy hands to demonstrate where the public tends to get it wrong and how we can adjust. And then I will continue to add to the Mid-Stakes Bible probably monthly. My goal is for it to be a 16-part course, 16-lesson course. It'll probably be like 4 parts, each one being 4 lessons. The first of which is kind of environmental adjustments, GTO principles. And the second part will then move into pre-flop construction, followed by post-flop strategies and river strategies. The river strategies is the one I'm most excited to make, to be honest. There's a chance I may actually build it second. I'm going to outline the whole thing and see if I can arrange it so that the second block of lessons that I drop is actually river heuristics, because I think there may be a way that I can do it where we start with river decisions and trace them backwards to pre-flop. And if I can pull this off, I think it's going to really solidify how ineffective bluff catching is in the live arena when facing opposition who is just too linear in their value and too bounded with lack of bluffing. SMB says, hey Burke, rarely get to watch these live. I've been playing live cash for a couple years and grinding ACR tournaments the last month or so. Really appreciate you explaining your thought process. Thanks, SMB. I appreciate you, man. You can show me a little love if you haven't already. Smash that like, hit the subscribe. And hey, check out Solve for Why TV for nothing. Just head over to solveforwhy.io, use the sign-up code FREEMONTHAUG, and you get 30 free days of all of our course content. And if you fucking hate it, leave a comment on every video you hate. I don't care. We just want the feedback at this point. I want to know how we can grow, how we can better ourselves, and how we can better serve our community. So go, be critical. Tell us what you love. Tell us what you dislike. Comments are open on all of the content on site. Bradley Little says, Burke has been down 10 million in makeup, I think. Not true. I was at 5.5 at my peak, and I got out within 8 months, I believe. Maybe slightly less. We clearly have a fold. Army Wife should have a call. Yep. There it is. There it is. The old Niners. Could have easily been 6s or 7s, but those win too. 48 remain. We're still top 10 in chips. Grinding along. with Ghost. Yeah, 2015. Well, let me give the entire backstory, I guess. 2013 is whenever I entered the high stakes arena. I went from broke in 2012 to selling a package to the World Series in 2013. On said package, I final tabled one of my first events for 120,000, I think. I got third in the 3K6 max. I then bought back a big chunk of my package to have half of it. Made another final table less than a week later for like 90,000, which I then had a half of. And then there were a couple events that weren't on my package that I played 100% my own. They were all the 5Ks and above. So I played the 5K 8 max at the end of the summer. Ended up getting fifth for 100 and I want to say like 175,000 or something like that. And I had all of myself. So at the end of the summer, I went from being broke to having somewhere in the neighborhood of 300K. Shortly thereafter, I had an open invite to play the big game from Bob Bright. I took him up on it. The game at the time was 100, 220K min. Played the first couple sessions on my own, and I lost small. I think I lost like 30K over the first few sessions. Then the game quickly got bigger. So within a month, they were playing like 300, 600, 1200 regularly. And I obviously had to sell action to that. So I had a friend of a friend who is a big... That's a good flop for us. SPR is really high here. We largely would be checking on these types of textures. I think we want to bet, though, A, to set the price, and B, to deny equity to hands like Queen Jack, King Queen. Okay, now we're just going to be all in. This is scary stuff, but Army Wife is very unlikely to have a really strong hand here, like a set. And we have plenty of equity if we get called. We're going to have all the overpairs here, so a 10 isn't very comfortable calling off. This is actually a pretty good event for us considering we went 5 ways. Jack or a 6. Not going to do it. Okay. No big deal. We risked 10 blinds there to win 30. It's a pretty good bet. We were live to 8 outs. Unfortunately, we bricked out. What can you do? So yeah, anyway, the game bumped up to like 3-6-12. I have a very close friend who is very good friends with a hedge fund manager. He put me in contact. We were able to develop kind of a backing team, if you will. I raised initially $1 million to play 3-6-12. Wasn't enough. Bumped it up to $2 million, and we went on like a $3.5 million upswing out of the gate, of which I had a pretty sizable piece of myself. So we squared up off of the initial $3.5 million win. I had like a third, and from there we renegotiated terms. This time I actually put up capital, so I ended up putting up $500,000 to retain initially 50% equity on $2 million. So I put up a quarter of the funds to retain half of my equity. This is heading now into the end of 2014. At that point, the game was just out of this world, man. All of the guys from Macau had regularly been traveling in. This is that group that ultimately ended up getting busted in Caesars for running a sports betting ring. So like Paul Fua and the like. Games were just massive. Like 3-6-12 was a small game for the most part. So we started downswinging. We were on, first $1 million downswing, but that was like almost regular. Like we were plus or minus $1 million any given week. And Marcus Rua, CEO from San Francisco, came in and he was just a battler, man. He made the game massive also. And we were just like at war with one another. So I swung a fucking ton. So I ended up like going down $1 million, then breaking even, then going down $1 million, breaking even. And we were just kind of on that ride for a while. Fast forward into early 2015 and the losses started to compile. I ended up going on like a $3.5 million downswing heading into spring of 2015. And in this time frame, my grandmother was diagnosed with like stage 4 uterine cancer. So her outlook wasn't good, but she was still early enough in the staging, not in the staging process, but they in the advancement process, I guess, where you know, she still had like 6 to 12 months to live according to what they believed. So I was making frequent trips back. I had to miss some games. I wasn't exactly in my best mental state, as I was very, very close with my grandmother, and I wanted to ensure that I would take care of her. But when I was in town, I was getting every invite imaginable because I was just losing. I'd lost like 20 of 22 sessions straight, and it just furthered. It just continued. So by the time we got midway through the World Series, I was down like $5.5 million, and I lost like 25 or 26 of like 29 sessions. I just couldn't book a win. At that time, my mother OD'd, and shortly thereafter, my grandmother was given 3 months to live. So immediately as the World Series concludes, I fly home for 3 months. And all this is pretty heavily detailed in Dead Money if you guys have seen it. So I'm just like beating a dead horse. But if you haven't, check it out on PokerGo. I flew home for 3 months, gave my grandmother end-of-life care. Over that time frame, Christian and I were still working pretty heavily with one another. He really gave me a push to start the academy, which we launched shortly thereafter. It was like December of 2015. So my grandmother passed in October. I was kind of emotionally distraught for a while, but by the time I made it back to Vegas, it was like early November, and I still had all of the invites that I could stomach. And we started getting to work on the academy. And in the process of that, I just really started to hash out my strategy. I was writing everything down in full, creating a full spreadsheet, or not spreadsheet, Google Drive of like just everything that I thought was good, and strategy concepts I thought that anyone could apply. Over that time, I just couldn't lose. So I was playing regularly 3 or 4 days a week. Ended up going on a 4 million upswing over the course of November to May of 2016. At that point, Solve for Why was kind of in full swing. We had run a couple of academies at that point, and we had decided to make the film Dead Money, leading up to my buy-in to the Super High Roller Bowl. And the most amazing part of all of this is that at no point did my backing contingency lose faith, right? They're just business-like about it. They just said, okay, like, we did this deal based off of $2 million. You know, you've lost that, so you need more capital. I don't want to force you to put in all your worth, because at the time I was probably worth like maybe 1.3, 1.5 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I had just lost the 500K that I'd fronted. So he's like, okay, I'll give you another $1 million, but in exchange for equity, so you'll be diluted. And then the same thing happened after I was stuck 3 million, and then 4 million, and then finally we were in for 6 million total. So on my last 500K, I ran that 500 up into just over 4 million. And at that point, I had about 15% equity on my wins. Played the Super High Roller Bowl, chip led for 3 straight days, eventually finishing in 5th place for 1.1 million, clearing makeup, and shortly thereafter getting out of makeup in full, thanks to a heads-up session of 501k PLO versus Aussie Matt. So when it was all said and done, I ended up squaring up another like 1.5 million profits, but I only got 15% of that, plus my initial 500k investment. At that juncture, the game had gotten smaller. I wasn't in action nearly as much because I had now won like 27 of 30 sessions or something crazy like that. So 2017 was really slow. I just didn't get many invites. I maybe only played like 15 or 20 sessions. Heading out into 2018, I'm doing pretty well financially. Obviously, I can't play 3-6-12 on my own, but I could play like 1-2 comfortably on my own. And I'm like basically even-ish on the stake. I might be like plus or minus a couple $100,000. So we just decided it made a lot more sense for me to take all of myself in smaller games and just sell to the bigger games. So we did that for like maybe 4 or 5 months in 2018. Made a lot of money out of the gate. You probably recall I got to play a couple big games on Live at the Bike where we did well. Had a couple 6-figure wins in those sessions. Poker After Dark, I started booking a few wins. Again, had a lot of myself in those sessions. And then there was a special week where Rob Young, Karim, who's a businessman, and a couple others were in town. And we were supposed to play 2-4. It immediately changed to 3-6. And, you know, once the game started going, it was pretty much 3-6-12. So I had sold based off of a $500,000 worth of buy-ins, thinking it was going to be 2-4 and that would be a lot of money to play with. It ultimately proved to be very little, as we were playing like 3-6-12, sometimes just 6-12-24. And I ended up losing $500K over the first like 3 sessions. Rob Young ultimately breaking me where Karim opened min under the gun. I 3-bet jacks to 10K in the cutoff. Rob Young calls the small blind. The big blind calls. JRB calls out of the straddle. And Karim calls as the original opener. So we go 5 ways to the flop. And it comes 10-4 deuce rainbow. Or sorry, 10-4 deuce 2 spades. Rob Young leads out 10,000. I think we can flat here. Rob Young leads out 10K. Karim calls. I make it 70,000 with like 150-ish behind. Rob jams. Karim folds. I call and I go twice. I have red jacks, so I have no spade. I go twice and he goes, no, I can't win twice. I'm like, Rob, please, you're going to retire me if you don't run this twice. And he goes, no, my hand's too bad. Trust me, I'm donating to you. Just run it once. So this is like a $500,000 pot. Turn is the 3 of spades. So now it's 10-4 deuce 3. And spades complete. River's like an offsuit 8. And I'm just like, fuck, man, he made his flush. But then I'm thinking like, oh, he said his hand's really bad. Maybe he doesn't have a flush. And he just rolls over the 4 of diamonds, 3 of hearts for a turn 2 pair. And I'm just like sick to my stomach. I had invites for the rest of the week, like the next 10 days or so that these guys were all in town. It was a massive money-making opportunity. But I had effectively just lost like maybe 200,000 of my own money at the time, which was significant enough. You know, it's probably like, it was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like, I don't know, 15 to 20% of my net worth. And I lost 300K of my backers' money, or the people I sold to, which never feels good. Now, they were all for it. They're just like, please go fire. Like, we'll buy. But I didn't feel comfortable. I knew I would have to raise like 2 million to feel comfortable playing. And if I was going to raise 2 million, now I'm only going to be playing for like maybe 10 or 15% of myself. And I just wasn't there. So instead, I bowed out. I basically told JRB, like, look, these stakes have just gotten too high for me. I don't have full backing. I have to sell. And 3-6-12 is just too much. Like, you know, keep me in mind for like 200, 400 games. And that's basically where I've been at since. Now, the 3-6-12 has all but disappeared. That game almost never runs. JRB still runs a 100, 200, 200, 400 game. He's actually been hitting me up quite a bit, but I haven't been around. I've been out of town a lot, and I've been playing 50, 100 at Bellagio on my own for the better part of the year. So, like, yeah, that's where we're at. Haven't been back since 2017, really. I sell if it's a big 200, 400 or larger. Like Poker After Dark, I tend to just keep all my action. Those games are smallish. But anything that's like 100K buy-in or larger, I'll just sell. Anything that's less than that, like 50K or below, I have all my own action. And yeah, life's good, man. I get to play high-stakes poker, which is the fucking dream. I get to have the vast majority of myself, which is also the dream. And when I'm not doing that, I get to play these little shitty-ass tournaments online and try to make myself feel good. Also, Bitcoin's up, baby. Let's go. $40 remain. We are about average. Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat. I know I was talking for quite some time. Jason Birch said, did you pick the winner of the sausage race or whatever they do at PNC? It's a pierogi race, motherfucker. And they were the first ones to do it, I'll have you know. Before the Brewers, before the Nationals, before all these other copycats, they were the fucking originators. And yeah, I picked it. It was Bacon Bob. If you haven't had bacon pierogies, you're missing out. Berkey, what blind level would you classify as high stakes? 100 or more big blind? Yeah, I think for live, 50, 100 and above is definitely high stakes. 25, 50 can be just due to the nature of how much straddling takes place. Honestly, I think 25, 50 probably qualifies. It's just that there's a huge difference. Maybe we just separate it between high stakes and nosebleeds, right? Because I think anything above 200, 400 is probably nosebleeds. There's a big difference between quarter 50 and 300, 600. Jared Harvey says, hello, I'm signing up now. I play well and have had lots of success playing exploitative, but need to evolve. Love to play and a great student, so looking forward to it. Thanks for the free trial. Anytime, Jared. Let me know how you think, or let me know what you think of it, I should say. Don't worry, Schellenberger. I'll give you one too. What up, Ryan Braun? How you doing, my man? Are you still with a stable? I am not. I haven't been since 2017. When did you get involved in Bitcoin? 2016, actually. I sold a small piece of my super high roller bowl. Oh, no, sorry, 2017. So when I played it the second time, I sold some to the public, and I got my first... I think I got my first 4 Bitcoins by selling. It was 1,500 per coin at the time. We need a little heat, team. 23 of 37. The structure seems to have largely caught up with everybody. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Chip leader has about 70 bigs. There are players in the top 10, though, with less than 40. You Need Therapy and Drew both in the top 10, both less than 40 big blinds. So we are in a bit of a turbo-ish structure. That's not very fair to say, but it's because they don't do the incremental jumps like Rest of World, so it goes from 15.3 to 2K 4K instead of like 15.30 to like 16.32, whatever. I think we're too shallow here to do much opening light. I think we just check this one back. And we flop huge. That's a huge flop. We can start big betting because this hits our range so heavily. And he should have a lot of ace high in range. That shot. Glad you guys enjoyed the story. Hopefully, whatever his name is, something Kennedy. I don't remember. He's so forgettable. Hopefully that... Oh, Brendan Kennedy. There we go. Hopefully he has a little bit more perspective on what he's talking about. JP John says, how much of one's portfolio outside of retirement savings should you have in crypto as a percentage? Depends how much risk you want to take, man. I think it's a once in a generation opportunity. So I have like 60% of my liquidity in crypto. But I understand that is hyper aggressive and very easily could collapse from underneath me. I've been very lucky so far. And I hope that luck continues. But yeah, probably a lot less. What up, Jimmy? What's good? King Queen. This is a good hand. Got high, so high, I can't remember. This is probably a rejam. Oh, it's gonna be close. I don't know enough about Tough Fish. I would have happily reshipped on You Need Therapy. I'm of the mind of going for it. The hand naturally plays this way anyway. And I expect this late in the tournament, call-off ranges maybe to be a little too tight. So if ever I have fold equity against Ace-Jack, I think that this is a pretty good jam. Yeah, I think that that's probably pretty good. Like hands like sixes and Ace-Jack, Ace-10 suited are all supposed to call there. King-Jack suited supposed to call. I just don't think that's really happening. I think we have a fair amount of fold equity against like sixes, sevens, Ace-Jack, obviously King-Jack, which sucks, but whatever. It's three combos. I think Ace-10 suited folds. I think Ace-Jack suited folds. Like that's a lot of combos to be folding out, right? We're talking 16 combos of Ace-Jack, 4 combos of Ace-10 suited, potentially 6s, 7s, and 8s for another 18 combinations of hands. It's all a pretty good event for us. Hello, ladies. You were right about me. Okay. That's the nuts. I think we just bet one blind here. He has enough continues. If this was more disconnected like Queen 7 deuce, I would just check. Brandon Kennedy says, so basically your entire bankroll is from other revenue streams. Exactly what I originally said. I don't know what you mean. You must not have listened to the story very closely. I made 300,000 playing tournaments then I made a bunch by chopping my action in the big game. What is your point? That I don't have enough money to play 300, 600, 1200? Like, obviously. Neither do you. Neither does 90% of people who play those stakes. Only the rich whales are rolled enough to play. You need hundreds of millions of dollars. What are we talking about here? How did you find backers? I'm a 5'10 player wanting to move up in stakes. I never had a backer before. I'm interested in finding one. It's pretty tough, man. Mid stakes don't make it very appealing to the backing side. There just isn't a lot of meat on the bone. I didn't ever have a backer until I was playing 300, 600 plus, which is pretty attractive to people because they can make 7 figures. What are your thoughts on this year's live WSOP this fall? Do you think COVID will throw a monkey wrench? I'm still deciding if I play this year. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you always. I'm happy that it's in the fall. I'm worried that it is going to be an issue. Fingers crossed it's not, since we have a pretty big deal in place to market the World Series. We are... Wow. That's good for bet on Drew. Nice hand, sir. We are technically the official training site of the WSOP this summer. So we'll have branding on all of the PokerGo final tables. We'll have a booth. We will have a vignette or a 10-second commercial in all of the streams and the final product. So it's definitely a big deal for us. I'm really hopeful. I'm excited to get out there for sure. Will it be canceled? I think only if the governor changes the current mandate for conventions, which it doesn't look like they have any intention of doing since it's such a lifeblood of Vegas, but we'll see. Jason Birch says, Burke, there was a discussion on the Solve for Why Slack today about determining stakes based on blinds or the standard open. What say you? I think you can convert it into an SPR equation, right? So what it boils down to is in a single race pot, SPR generally, when you're 100 blinds deep, should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20. So if SPR is lower than that, then you need to convert to a higher stake, right? And I kind of mentioned this before, but essentially, like, if the standard open is 5x, that's actually a 2.5x at the next blind level. So really, if that's your standard game, then you're actually playing one stake up, and you're playing like a somewhat smaller version of the next stake because everybody's only 50 blinds effective if the average stack is 100. Wow, you guys got the Deuce Bigelow joke. Thank God. I thought that reference was going to go unnoticed for sure. Fold. Birch says, I think you've mentioned DJAF before in this light, but can you talk about if you've ever felt like a certain player ran pure versus you? Yeah, me and Billy, man, we go way back. We were the original lags, and we were the original ones shaking our head at everybody, not letting them know that if the luck ever breaks even, they're all fucked. I've definitely, I think Garrett has like held over me in a way that I've never had a player do to me before in my career. He just has it so fucking much as a player who isn't known to have it, right? Like we play such a similar aggressive strategy that you would think would like have our fair share of blows where we trade pots back and forth. But it's just like in the aces versus king scenario, he's just always the guy with the aces. And granted, we've played pretty low sample versus one another, but it's always on TV, so it's very magnified. Tom Fazio says, Matt, if you have a bit more time, if you have time, talk a bit more about the direction of the mid-stakes series coming out. Okay, so it's called the Mid-Stakes Bible. And the way that I have it structured is we're going to start by laying the foundation of what game theory dictates in an environment versus what's actually happening in your environment. So we lay it out by 3 anchor principles from GTO that we can lean on that are totally desensitized to environmental elements. And that is position, SPR, and range advantage. We can always calculate these 3 things regardless of what environment we're in. So we're going to use them as the anchors or the measuring sticks for how we build our strategy. So the first 4 lessons are an introduction to those principles. Lesson 2 is all about SPR. Lesson 3, position. Lesson 4 is range advantage. From there, part 2, I haven't quite decided how we're going to order it yet, right? But the idea will be that we'll go pre-flop, post-flop, and then river decisions, right? And I'm basically just trying to figure out if it makes most sense to start with in sequential order or if I should build out the river heuristics first and then work it backwards. And the idea behind that is basically that I have this hypothesis that 0 EV bluff catchers drastically underperform in the live environment to the point where they're absolutely negative EV. And slight plus EV bluff catchers, in other words, bluff catchers that purely call but are making very few chips when they do, I actually think are losing in most live environments as well. So what I'm positing is that we can shift all of these slightly plus EV bluff catchers and break-even bluff catchers from mixes or pure calls to actual pure folds. I have to flesh out the hypothesis a little bit more and see if it makes sense to build that first and then work backwards to the flop and pre-flop play. But in any event, in one way, shape, or form or another, that's going to be the backbone of what we're discussing. Basically, like how mixing doesn't really apply to live and how we can better navigate. On that note, I'm going to show you guys this week's latest launch of On Second Thought between Jeremiah Williams and Lin G.
As the Silver era hits full swing, the spotlight has shifted away from the Moneymaker era pro and onto a group of confident, barely 20-somethings taking the live high-stakes scene by storm. Not yet household names, the likes of Landon Tice, Jeremiah Williams, Chris Konvalinka, and Lin G are young talents which have ascended through the stakes in the blink of an eye.
In today's episode of On Second Thought, Jeremiah has an absolute mandatory bluff, and Lin has a very shaky bluff catcher. One of the most fascinating elements of studying No Limit Texas Hold'em is when we arrive at a river decision with an absolute mandatory bluff candidate or portion of our range that has no choice but to pull the trigger. However, it's a spot where the particular river card seems to lend advantage to our opposition. As we pick up the action, we see Lin opening 10-8 of diamonds from the cutoff. This is the standard open from this position and does so at 100% frequency.
Alright, so my hand is really close between all 3 options. I think just the one gap, I think I prefer calling over 3-betting.
We can see that Jeremiah's hand 9-7 suited in the small blind does a fair amount of mixing between calls and 3-bets. However, it does strongly prefer the calling option, which Jeremiah likes to do in real time. As we see a flop of 10-6-3 2 spades, what we notice right away is that these ranges run very symmetrical in their equity. Due to that, Jeremiah actually has a fair amount of a leading frequency in this particular situation. Now this is a fun discovery because I don't think it's very intuitive for a small blind defender to recognize that they have a fair amount of leads on a 10-6-3 board. With that said, the dominant strategy is still overall going to be to check, and we can see that Jeremiah does elect to do that in real time.
I think my hands that want to bet for value include just about any pair. And I think this board is also reasonably wet, but more importantly, I think it actually, I don't really think it hits its fighting range that hard. If it was like 10-7 or 10-8-3, that would hit it a little bit harder. And I think with that said, because I'm not betting that many hands, I think I get to choose a slightly larger size. But because I'm still betting every single pair for value, I think I'll go like a 40%.
As we listen to Lynn's explanation, she understands that this board texture is very dynamic, but she also holds the belief that Jeremiah won't have many strong hands in his range. This is a bit of a misidentification, as this texture results in nearly symmetrical equities as we previously stated. The fact is, Lynn doesn't actually possess much advantage aside from position, which you can see yields a substantial EV edge in spite of having nearly zero equity advantage in this particular spot. A big reason for this is that overpairs can't really get the money in on the flop, and they'll decrease in equity throughout the majority of turns and rivers. Therefore, the hands that she does possess in range that possess a current flop advantage over Jeremiah's range will dilute the more streets that they're forced to play. Due to the density of middling equity that Jeremiah holds, it stands to reason he'll retain a lot of equity on the majority of turns that are below a jack. For this reason, Lynn correctly recognizes that she'll play check back with a relatively high frequency of about 50%. This is a means of leveraging position to realize her equity advantage and arrive at showdown more frequently, which is why her EV advantage is reflecting so high in this particular spot. Despite her desire to go larger in this spot with her particular hand, she does ultimately recognize that 40% will serve her overall range much better, and we can see that the solver does agree. A couple other things to note for Lynn's range. We have given her 4 different betting options, 2 large sizes of 75% in full pot, 1 size of 40%, which is what she chose in game, and then 1 small size of 25%. We can see that...
All right, we're back. And we need some heat, baby. 23 big blinds in a dream, 20 of 31 remaining. We're fine. We're just fine. We're like a double up away from having all the chips. We're just out here to grind, man. We will grind this stack as necessary. You Need Therapy came in as the chip leader today. We came in second in chips today. Both of us below average stack now. I believe that Bet on Drew came in top 5 in chips. He is still up there with 55 blinds. Pretty fortunate hand for him with the King Jack of Spades versus Ace King of Diamonds on Jack High 2 Diamonds. What up, Lily? Welcome to the chat. Always good to see you. If you guys enjoyed what you saw with On Second Thought, we are giving it away. Head over to Solve4Y for free. Use sign-up code free month AUG. Save $50 and get 30 straight days of content from us. Is the cash game homeschool included in the $50 monthly subscription? No, that is a separate course that can be purchased for, I believe, $1,500. We're also doing an MTT WSOP based homeschool this September. We have a slew of coaches signed up. We have Andrew Brokus teaching 2 lessons, Jesse Sylvia and Russell Thomas each teaching a lesson, myself, Matt Hunt, Landon Tice, and then the Mad Queen Charles himself will be rounding it out teaching ICM the final week. If you guys want more information on that, just hit hashtag syllabus in the chat. It'll give you a breakdown of all the lessons. Hashtag homeschool will take you to the link in order to sign up and provide you a 20% discount code. Matt, any chance of seeing you on Hustler Live versus Garrett soon? The fans want to see it. Add Antonio, Miko, and Andy in the mix. That would be a must see. Yeah, we had been planning on trying to do something in September. I think my schedule's probably a little bit too full right now. So very likely after the World Series. Tom says, sounds great. Where do I sign up? You're already signed up, man. It's just a part of being a member. So that course is going to slowly release over the next few months. Episode 1 is going to, or lesson 1, I should say, is going to release tomorrow. Lesson 2 will be the following week. Then we're going to be on a short break because we need to film Poker Out Loud. We're running an academy, and Landon's, what would it be? Landon's course that comes out in September will be getting worked on. So that course will be dropping early to mid-September. The new season of Poker Out Loud will be dropping somewhere around Labor Day. And then after that, I'm going to slowly release the remainder of the Mid-Stakes Bible, aiming for 1 or 2 episodes per month. $29 remain. We are guaranteed nothing. $1,500. We are on a $240 pay jump, $250 pay jump. We got a lot of work to do. Jeremy Stark says, is this an online poker training site? It is. It's a monthly subscription service, and you'll see a plethora of content. Poker Out Loud, our flagship show, On Second Thought, which is a monthly show dissecting a specific spot from Poker Out Loud. We have a monthly course that drops by the coaches on site. Also some guest coaches like Finding Equilibrium. Jason Su has done one. Ivan from Poker Detox has done one on MTTs. Andrew Brokus is going to be doing one for November. So we do have some coaches outside of our 4 little walls. Also, there are past courses that have been launched. Everything from Back to Basics to the Primer abridged version. Matt Hunt has a lot of stuff out on EV, flop textures, and MTTs. I've done a lot of stuff on live cash strategy. You can check that out in Teaching Talent. I did a course on mistake identification, as well as another one on exploiting called the Exploitative Matrix. Christian's done some stuff on hand classes, which is very good. Fold here. There's also some original content, so the To Be Determined documentary is out on our site. We have an old show called Man vs. Machine, where Hunt takes a live played hand, analyzes the in-game thoughts of the man versus how it compares to the machine output. I think that was done really well. Lot of content on there. Over 500 hours, I believe. The Academy footage is up there if you have any interest in seeing how our attendees play. Robert C. says, how was the Pirate game? It actually wasn't too bad. It was a 2-1 game. They played reasonably okay. They're a minor league squad. I don't know what else to say. Their number 3 hitter, who's their center fielder, I actually can't even remember his name. He's having a really good year. Fuck. I really needed to be able to VPIP here. He's having a pretty good year. He actually is batting like, I want to say he's hitting like 310 maybe. with 21 bombs and 70 RBIs, which for a dead last place team is pretty fucking impressive. And then Colin Moran hitting in the cleanup spot is obviously somewhat of a disappointment, but he's been hurt most of the year, so he actually only has like 100 at bats. Oh, Jimmy, that's not how you spell syllabus. You were close. Everyone knows. Okay, 2 3s here on the cut. Very likely will be V-pipping. Probably have to fold if there's an open in front. Without an open in front, oh man. Okay, this is actually probably a jam. We're not going to be doing a ton of jamming, but given the stack depths here, this just makes a lot of sense. So we pretty much just have to get through Drew. And then we're just kind of free rolling the spot. We garner a fair amount of fold equity versus these ranges. We'd be doing this with like 2s, 3s, 4s, some suited Broadways, some offsuit ace-x, some suited ace-x. It's kind of exploitative. We don't really have a ton of hands in this range. It's just basically hands that don't want to like raise, call off. Bring out the devil in me. You gotta risk it to get the biscuit, as Brent Hanks would say. Jimmy says, what about PLO? Anything new over there? Still looking for a good PLO coach. Unfortunately, Dylan Weissman's doing his own thing / is attached to Upswing. He would be my go-to guy. Maybe I can talk Poppy out of retirement, see if I can get him making some content. Too high. Tell me it's not too late to die from love. All she ever says, just a phone call in my head. It's never too late to die from love. In my head. Clear open for us. We'll be calling this jam. Good luck us. Let's go team. Oh, we win this one for sure. Yep. Club. Let's go. Let's go. That's a flip we needed to win. Keep me for... I'm gonna grab my food real fast. Brain food, baby. Brain food. Got ourselves some oats with a ready-to-drink protein shake, Premier Protein to be specific. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. 1 tablespoon of butter. Some salt. Oh, I forgot the most important thing. Just a little drizzle of honey for sweetness. A little drizzle. Wayne's Van Hoof says, I love Thinking Poker, best poker podcast out there. So great to see you including Brocus in the schedule. I'm really pumped to have him on board. We were really hopeful to get him for Poker Out Loud this season. But I don't think he feels very comfortable traveling with the Delta variant. But he is doing the WSOP homeschool and putting out a course for us in November. So I'm really excited for that. Things are very tight, or very quickly tightening up. We have 30 blinds, and you can see we're above average at 11 of 26. We'll have a defend here. What up, KZ Killer? Welcome. What up, Jamin? How you doing, my man? Let's flop a straight flush. What do you say? I'll take it. Okay, I mean, I know we wanted the straight flush and all. We'll live. Depending on his sizing will depend on how we react. Okay, the check back is interesting. I think we kind of get to go hard here. He's going to have a lot of bluff catchers and then just hands that would never put any money in the pot anyway. 5 is obviously a very good card for us. Would love to see a king, jack, or 10 on the river, I think. Deuce is nice too. We have a lot of bluffs. A lot of bluffs. And he's kind of suggested that he has a bluff catcher. He may just have the naked king of clubs. Nothing we can do about that because it's not going to bluff if we check. I think we just go for it here. The times he checked back an ace, he's going to at least feel inclined to call. This is where our face pays off. People know that I'm capable in this spot, so they may think that I'm over bluffing it a bit. If he has ace king with the king of clubs or king queen with the king of clubs, those hands probably are a little bit more prone to folding. But maybe not, because I'll have more than just the naked king of clubs to bluff here. I'll be reaching with some of my pairs. Basically, you just want to block auto calls. So you'd want to block like an 8, a 5, being that he could have checked back like ace 5. A deuce is nice too. I think we're going to get called here, guys. I feel pretty confident we're going to get called here. The only other... Yep, there it is. Let's go! I was going to say, the only other size we could have there is a block. But we don't really want to choose too many flushes in our blocking range. Unless it's just like a hand that overly blocks the board. Like a hand like King Jack of Clubs. Where it's difficult for him to have a strong bluff catcher. Actually, that's probably even a poor example, because I don't know that we could ever induce him to raise anything worse. Maybe our exact hand actually could do a little bit more blocking, because it does block the 5, and it's a super low flush, so it unblocks him having other clubs. We're just going to have to fold this one. We are now currently the chip leader, ladies and gentlemen. Let's fucking go. 1 of 25. We're doing it. Thank you for the vote of confidence, Tom. I appreciate that. He says, having attended the academy as well as the recent homeschool is much more in depth. I'm on my 3rd pass and still have to take copious notes. Well worth the price. Yeah, we kind of competed with our own product there, but it was important to me to offer something that was more than just surface material, which is what the academy tends to be. You can only go over so much in three-hour lectures during the academy. It's a lot more about the gameplay, the RFID experience, the immediate feedback, the ability to study that feedback day in and day out and then ask questions to us in real time. Somebody who's looking to like really comprehensively build is much better served with something like the homeschool course or just a Solve for Why membership. song. On the run. Grant Stevens says, shout out to Berk for being the only poker streamer who eats quietly. It's much appreciated. Yeah, I really try not to eat on stream, but that's my first meal of the day. Final table or dust indeed, my friend. All the money's up top and we're playing for it. We get to start leaning on some pay jump bubbles here soon. Once we get down to like 15 or so. What up, Matthew Wood? Three of 22 now. We've been overtaken. Robert Martinez says, Berkey, did you see the new poker highlights where you get bluffed off your second pair by Dan? I didn't, but I know that it happened. I actually knew that it happened immediately because he was gracious enough to fucking show me. It's actually a pretty interesting hand. I'm pretty confident my exact combination just mixes on the end. And it's probably just like a coin flip between calling and folding. I probably should have just called, because fuck Dan. If anybody's over bluffing, it's definitely Dan Smith. Shout out to the Cracking Aces podcast, giving me a little love on Twitter. They're always out there doing the damn thing, showing us a little love, sending us some support. I greatly appreciate it. And shocker, they tweet, we have 700 people watching. Who would have guessed? Oh, shit. I love Leroy Towns trivia. Wayne's Van Hoof said, Matt, please, what's the Just a Phone Call in My Head song you were singing along? It was great and resonated with me, but I don't know it. Thanks. Well, it's by Leroy Towns, for sure. I have to press pause and just like speak the lyric a few times to really think about it. Let me think. Oh shit! I love that idea, Birch. A mod edition of Poker Out Loud. I absolutely love that. You're not invited, of course, but I do like the idea. Let's see. Just a phone call in my head. Let me think. I think it's Done Me Wrong. I'm pretty sure this is it. Let's listen to it. I'm pretty confident this is it. It's Done Me Wrong by Leroy Towns. That's spelled Townes. Sorry, usually I have the artist and title up on the screen, but I don't have Snip working for some reason. I'm drinking whiskey most every night, and I like singing songs about women who never do treat me right. And I like playing in this bar when the sun goes down. Lines are catching up quick. We just jumped from 3.6 to 4.8, so we got clipped from 60 to 44. I said, hey. About 300 people entered this tournament. 22 remain. We have a clear defend here. It's a big nothing burger. Should face a reasonable amount of checks on this board, and we can do some small check raising, especially with the over backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. Shine like a Valentine. And I do think we are going to take that path. Choose the 3x sizing. Baby, you done me wrong. Why you do me wrong? We should get some hands that dominate us to fold, like King Queen. 6 is a really nice card for us. We get to do some polarizing here. We would have much preferred the 6 of diamonds, of course. Now, we're not going to apply very much pressure to over pairs, but we will start folding out over cards. If we're called here in this spot, we obviously abandon ship, barring a 3, an 8, or a queen. We just win. Very good turn for us. Is a kiss of these tires on the pavement taking me towards the coast? I said, hey, baby, you done me wrong. Why you do me wrong? We'll be giving a walk here to Drew. 9 deuce is not something we can work with. Two of 22. So I don't think that that was the song. Oh, baby. Spikes it. That's all she wrote for whoever this is. Two of 21 now? Oh. My apologies. It went the other way. You Need Therapy was crippled. to be proud of all the things he's done. I have been a liar and I have been a thief and I've been careless with the ones I love. I got blood. This isn't GG. This is 888's new software in Pennsylvania. Mark Filorowski, we are 2 of 21. You can see that right here in the lower right-hand corner. So we are not at the final table yet. We go hide in the shadow. We don't look for the light and can tell us that we're wrong. Queens then drills it. Oh, this poor bastard. This poor SOB. He got it in 7s to 6s and then kings to queens, and he is out. 21st place. GG, young man. Very unlucky stuff. Here's what I've done. When I know they're coming to get me, that's what I say. What is this song? Just a phone call in my mind. I know it, man. It's not done me wrong. Just a phone call in my mind. This would be my first bracelet if I win it. Maybe it's this. Ballad of You, Me, and the Other Guy. Just a phone call in my mind. I know the lyric, man. I know the fucking lyric. Another Friday night, it's a Friday the 5th, and I'm feeling alone. Yeah, this is it. Make me hate yourself, it's a secret that everyone knows. Well, I got my boots, and I got my pills, and I got my phone. If you want me, I'll be in the backyard digging. Now he takes a beat after we had folded an ace. Ay, ay, ay. Figure out who's losing, who's winning. Every time she looks me in the eye, you take me for a ride. And I can't understand what we're trying to hide. First 2.5, we're just going to be folding. Cool country song in the roll in the wind, she's got it leveled at me. Something about the way she holds that gun brings out the devil in me. We're on a pay jump, so you need therapy. He's going to do a lot of tanking here. And then he's ultimately going to check. Yep. Now he's going to tank down his time bank. Fingers to play this guitar, and I got one for you tonight. So I keep spinning, I keep spinning. Oh, wow. GG, you need therapy. It was a good ride, my man. Final 2 tables, 17 remain. Okay, so we definitely V-pip this hand. Limp seems right here. Jam also seems fine. Jam seems fine. Phone call in my head. There it is. There it is. Never too late to die from love. All she ever says is the phone call in my head. Ooh, hey, 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 hey. Okay, given the stack depths behind us, this can go either way. He is the chip leader, so he's going to do a little bit more opening. But by that same token, he gets to do a little bit more 4-betting versus us. I'm going to lean flat. She is the revolution. And we flop a bluff catcher. Shocker. %. Okay, fine. I think we call one more. We may call 3 even. We unblock a lot of his bluffs. Pot's tough. Oh man, this is where it gets a little bit funky. How does our 10x play in this position? Our 10x of hearts auto calls. Our ace 10 is preferred over queen 10 because it unblocks bluffs more. He'll be bluffing a lot more with queen jack, jack 9, queen 9, etc. So queen 10 greater than jack 10, queen 10 greater than 10-9, ace 10 greater than both. I think we call one more here. Check down and win. God damn it. Okay. Well played by him. I think we play the hand correctly as well. Unfortunate to just have a new guy at our table who has all the fucking chips and then gets aces. Small little setback. 9 of 17 now. What up, Brian Space? Good to see you here, man. Sun beats to your soul. 3 days I'm dead man. And I'll rock until you roll. Ain't nobody gonna come to you. It all comes back to town. You hear that awful sound, you screaming. Okay. Whoops. Apologies. We got the daddies just when we needed them most. Hit him with the min. Pretty favorable flop for us. 40% makes a lot of sense here. Okay, off 30, I think this is just going to play pure 3-bet. This might be a little bit on the big side. Maybe not, though. Drifting in the water. If I stop to think, then I drown. keep on moving. I think we check back here. We don't really want to get blown off our equity. This kind of hits him a little bit hard with his king-queen type holdings. We'll have queens in this range. We'll have ace-queen, ace-jack, some king-x. Now I think we can bet like 40%. As that range of hands is now ahead of his double checks, he'll have to start folding hands like 7s, 8s. Well, fuck us. Amos Slade is ruining us. Ay. Probably could have stabbed a little smaller on turn, I guess. 40% seems about right. We're not going to have a lot of 1.25 SPR after checking back. Yeah, I don't think we have like a lot of 20%. We could have gone really small on the flop. I think that would have worked. Just betting like 10%. That would have been fine. Now we find ourselves in reshove mode. It's always tough to accumulate through the chip leader, guys. We just happen to be dealt the spots. What can you do, man? What can you do? We could have been conservative there and just flatted. Start the show. Try to tell me everybody gets old. I can't wait to find out that, like, well, this hasn't proven to be the case yet, so I doubt that it's true. But I can't wait to find out that Amos Slade is just, like, some massive nit who just, like, only fucking has it. And I'm the idiot who's in there with the bottom of my range every single time. By my side. I hope to give you some sauna entertainment, Pete. I really do. We're on fumes now, but we're actually a double up away from being average. I think the average stack right now is only like 21 bigs. And you can see we've been doing a lot of fluctuating thus far. This is just going to be a jam. Godspeed. Fold would be great. All right. Yeah, just winning the blinds there jumped us from 15 to 13. Taking a quick look at the stack depths. So there's 17 left. Average stack is somewhere between 21 and 25 blinds. We maybe should have checked back the ace-5 again. I was just rewatching that hand now. I think maybe the best line there is like 10% on flop, check back turn. We probably don't get check raised very much. RMX Indiana says check back equals signs of weakness. Yeah, we check back top set though. We check back ace-king of hearts. So we're certainly not weak. We have some combinations of strong hands. We also just have like queens in that range and tens. I guess we just wouldn't be doing it for... we wouldn't be doing it too often with hands that fold to the jam. MS Peranza says, is the homeschool more of an MTT tournament format? So this homeschool that we're running in September is geared strictly towards WSOP events for those preparing to play in the fall. We have run cash game homeschools in the past. I'm not certain if they're still in the shop or not. I think we pulled them. I think that you could only sign up when they were live. But I can clarify with my manager whenever he becomes available. Off 25, I think ace-5 suited is just like a mandatory 3-bet there, 7-handed. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong. Jimbo the Terrible says, you ever analyze your hand sometimes? You're a great player, but what did you believe he had on the Queen 10 hand? It's like you don't give him credit for a king there. Why? Of course he has a king there. And of course he has aces. He just also has bluffs, or at least he should. So he should have Queen Jack, Jack 9, 9 10, 9 7. He should also have flush draws, as well as just some air, like Ace Jack, Ace Queen, at some frequency, perhaps even some zero equity hands, like 8-7. So really what we're doing is we are defending from overfolding by calling with our best middling pairs. It also ensures that we then have coverage on a river 10 so that we can't just exploitatively get jammed on. We're all in here. Wins. Hate those spots, man. I fucking hate those spots. But that's just the way the hand plays at 15, you know? Alright, we're 12 of 16 now. Forget the curveball, Ricky. Give him the heater. There's only one thing left to do. Win the whole fucking thing. Wow, the fact that you two dads both edited the quote in the chat is so disheartening to me. Tom says there's only one thing left to do, win the whole effing thing. And then Schellenberger follows up and goes, Berkey, there's only one thing left to do, win the whole damn thing. Come on, man! We're all adults here. Say it the way it was said. It's not on USA. This is the HBO version. For those of you who don't know, we're quoting Major League, one of the greatest movies of all time. Tried the corner and missed. Just a bit outside. Ball 4. Ball 8. Ball 12, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded. Flop us the nuts. Yeah, that's what we're looking for right there. That was what we were looking for. Cry for wanting. They fall apart. All in the heart. Face in just a memory. 15 remain. We are now 14 of 15. And we're cutting to break, which means I have more on second thought for you guys. Starring Jeremiah Williams and Lin G.
Here, coming in at under 2% with both sizes combined. And the small size, though utilized about 18% of the time, doesn't really serve us all that well whenever we look at how her candidates mix. You can see that almost all of her candidates have a checking frequency to them, with the exception of 2 pairs in sets, and the vast majority of them are splitting between the small size and the 40% size, but there's relatively no EV gain by including the $18 size if we aren't simplifying to a full range bet in this spot.
So that's about 40% pot. I have certainly down folding with the bet that shot. I could raise. Blocking suited 10s is good. I think I just need to do a mix of both here. This time I'm just gonna call.
Jeremiah very quickly identifies that his candidate will likely mix calls and raises, and we can see that the solver very much agrees. When we dig into what 9-7 combos specifically do, we see that they all play fairly aggressively, with the combos possessing front door and backdoor flush draws, raising at a near 70% frequency. 9-7 of diamonds specifically does mix, as Jeremiah stated, but also chooses to call slightly more often. We can see by the hand's EV regret that there's absolutely no penalty to just playing a pure strategy with all of your 9-7 in this spot, be it pure raise or pure call. As a matter of fact, if we zoom out to the hand class level, looking at all gut shots and similar hands to the 9-7 class, we can see that they all play extremely aggressively. And again, nearly zero EV regret should we forego mixing altogether.
He doesn't have many Queen X when he flips there, unless it has the Queen of Spades. I feel like I'm supposed to check, but I genuinely have no clue why. Like, I know I'm going to be evaluating myself sometimes, but it also just seems like it simplifies my over decision by so much to just bet here. I also think he thinks I turn some equity on the Queen a lot, and more importantly, he also turns some equity on the Queen just a bit. And I think for that reason, like, if that makes him more likely to check raises and bluff, I guess that's kind of annoying. So I guess we'll just check.
As we see the turn Queen of Diamonds, we can understand that this is a very favorable one for Lin, since we identified most good turns for Jeremiah will be a jack and below. For all intents and purposes, this is a stone brick, and we can see that the EV advantage shifts heavily in Lin's favor. However, something very fascinating occurs. All of Lin's EV advantage is coming from the polarizing equity in her range, while Jeremiah's range is heavily constructed of bluff catchers. We can see by the equity distributions that Lin has a fair amount of nutted equity and almost half of her range that is nothing. But what's fascinating is that despite holding a significant EV advantage, she's actually at an equity disadvantage. Because of her overall EV edge, she should expect Jeremiah to neither fold nor raise at a very high frequency. This stands to reason that she'll have multiple sizings on this turn to choose from, but will heavily favor a very large bet mixed with a lot of checking. As a matter of fact, we can very likely simplify to only overbetting and checking without giving up very much EV. Lynn does an excellent job of recognizing that the queen is a brick and that a bet applies a lot of pressure to Jeremiah's range. Her fear of being check raised, specifically while holding a marginal hand with reasonable showdown value, is a great heuristic to utilize when we're put in a spot where we hold a significant range advantage but little to no equity advantage. As we can see, the solver demonstrates this heuristic fully. When we look at the bulk of hands which play passively in Lynn's shoes, we see a strong concentration around 10x and other pairs less than the queen. Her lowest equity draws also do a fair amount of checking, mainly due to the fact that there are so many higher EV draws in her range that she can choose to bet. Again, because Jeremiah will mostly just call, we prefer to have higher equity whenever we build the pot. Almost all of her hands that have showdown value are heavily dominated by big bet strategy. Sets, two pairs, over pairs, and even top pairs are utilizing a big bet strategy. The under pairs, second pairs, and third pairs really don't utilize big bets often or the over bet very much, but you can see that they're heavily dominated by checks. As we then get into the under pairs to the board, ace highs, king highs, etc., the big bet starts to show up in presence again alongside checking. And when we look at her nothing, we can see that it's also heavily dominated by the big bet strategy. The reason being is that she has twice as much nothing as she does relatively strong showdown value.
All right. We're back. We got the A3. This is just going to be a fold. Oh, an annoying one at that. We've been ripping if it had folded to us. If you guys like what you saw here with On Second Thought, be sure to head over to solveforwhy.io. You can sign up for free right now utilizing code FREEMONTHAUG. That's 30 days free of all of Solve for Why TV, including On Second Thought, 5 seasons of Poker Out Loud, many courses to choose from, ranging from tournaments to cash to game theory heuristics. That's a good hand. That is a very good hand. It's just a raise off this depth. We could jam. A little bit too strong, I think. We want to have a raising range here for sure. Ace King off probably does a little bit of jamming. Would be much happier to just shove Ace Queen. Some pairs, some suited broadways, King Queens. The fact that the blinds go up next level, maybe I wish we would have jammed. Okay, now we got what we wanted. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Big flip for us. Let's win. We actually just might have them dominated. Put a king out there one time. We win. Yep. Club. Yeah. Yeah, I knew. I just fucking knew. We win. We win. I didn't have that sinking feeling at all. Just knew. Just fucking knew, man. Woo! Let's go. Big flip to get out of the way. Let's get a little caught up on chat now that we got our win. 4 of 15. Look at that. We double up and we go from 14 of 15 to 4 of 15. Let's do the damn thing. This guy here is dead. Well, scratch him off the list then. Know my story. 30 effective. This is one of the candidates that starts doing some raising. Against chip leader, though, I think we probably have to play a little bit more conservatively. King High here, I think, has some merit to float. But ICM-wise, I think it becomes more of a fold. Even though we're not going to adhere too closely to ICM, I don't really need to press it whenever we have a pretty trash hand. I'll correct the volume next break, Gregory. Thank you. Okay, blind versus blind for 20. This is almost certain to be a limp. We could do some exploitative opening here, I think, given the ICM pressure. But Drew's going to play pretty well. I expect him to have an appropriate response to an open. And risking 3 blinds in this spot is no fun. Though we will be limp calling versus a standard open size. So we do find ourselves in that scenario. We are going to get to realize the equity of 10-8. That's really the biggest difference. Not much equity to be had here. He's just going to go ahead and take it. Oh, man. It hurts. Yeah, maybe raising is better, given ICM. Force him to shove. Where I say he's going to find the proper responses to an open, he's also going to find the proper responses to a limp. So he'll have, like, the King 5 open there off 20, which is really good. Wow. Michael Hope Dog gives us the Angels in the Outfield reference. Just flapping the arms. Hey, Serrano. Think Joe Boone needs a refill. Oh, man. I love Bob Uecker in that movie. He's so fucking good. In case you haven't noticed, and judging by the viewership you haven't, Berkey has managed to win a few here and there and threatening to climb out of the cellar. So good. So good. We should just do an entire poker stream off of the script of Major League. It's so easily transferable. Oh, it's not, hey, Serrano, Joe Boone needs a refill. It's, hey, bartender, think Joe Boone needs a refill. And then he gets hit in the back, with the back of the head with a bat. Are you trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball? Let's not start a holy war, Harris. My kind of team, Charlie. My kind of team. We shot you down. They shot you down, honey. They shot. I gotta tell you, man, I would just love to run like the second coming of Christ from now until there's one player left in this event. That would be so fine by me. Just a nice 65k for having absolutely nothing to think about. Just constantly being dealt the best hand and having it hold. Oh, no. Oh, you hate to see it. Fuck. I think we have to fold begrudgingly. Oh, puke. Oh, oh no. How does he just call? That's a shove. Ugh, he let us in there. The thing is, risking 5 blinds there's a lot. Man. I guess maybe it's not a jam. Yeah, maybe he is calling with range off of 40. Maybe I make a mistake there. Maybe I am supposed to call. That would have been a nice one to pick up. Get a little lucky on. Summer night. Goodbye to faraway you. Never reach the top. That's not true. RMX Indiana says tournaments generally call for tighter play compared to cash games. That's actually fundamentally false. Because of escalating blinds, you actually have to play way, way looser in MTTs. Way looser. Clear open. Birch says Burke's Lou Brown is fire. Bro, give me all the Lou Brown quotes. I fucking love them. Are you aware that Hunt's never seen Major League? This should be a part of his performance review. Hi-yi-yi. We out. Back on me, mama. All the angels out your window. I'm just looking for your light. 8 of 11. We are breaching that final table bubble. Unfortunately, we don't have a stack that can really lean. Tire World. Yeah, all right, Jerry. I don't know. Let me get back to you. I got another guy on the line with some white walls. I fucked that one up. Nice catch, Hayes. Don't ever fucking do it again. From the loving of a friend. Love he came to earth to find, girl. Love's what killed him in the end. We only get one chance to live again. We only get one chance to lose. There's nobody out there picking up your pieces, girl. Oh yeah, on this stage and he's singing, singing the blues. Boom, 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 ba-da, ba-da-da-da. So we are the 6-handed table. The other table is playing 5. They have 2 short stacks, a 13 blind stack and a 15 blind stack. We have 1 short stack, the deuce at 10 bigs. Of a hero. This is just going to be an all-in spot. Toughfish should have a reasonable range of hands here, a lot of which we dominate and probably can't fold, like ace-queen, ace-jack suited. So let's just fucking win this one. What do you say, team? This is where we get up to top 3 in chips. Okay, we just steal. Nobody out there picking up the pieces, girl. Singing, 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 singing the blues. RMX Indiana, tight is right is not a thing. Actually, that's going to be a bust out for our man to the right, so we're down to 10. Actually, you can check out the new course that I'm putting out, Mid-Stakes Bible, and it will give you a lot of enlightenment. Basically, the simple principle is that as stack to pot to ratio comes closer to 0, bet sizes also shift closer between 0% pot and 100% pot. So they become very polar in nature. They're either all-ins or they're checks, right? you can utilize some ends of the spectrum that aren't that. Like we can bet 10% in some spots, and we can bet like 75% of our of the pot in others, depending upon the situation. But the whole point is that as strategies trend closer to being checking or shoving or all in or folding, what ultimately happens is you get to play a much wider range of hands because equity denial is less of a concern. On the bubble of the final table, this is going to be a fold. We would defend the suited version. So since position is less important as SPR is lowered, and worrying about realizing your equity, in other words, making it to the river, is less of a concern simply due to the fact that you're all in more frequently, it stands to reason that you actually have to widen your range and you have to increase your VPIP in order to keep up with the escalating blinds. That's tournament poker in a nutshell. The surest way to ensure that you have a very low ROI on MTTs is to overfold. You got pearl eyeballs, you got a diamond heart, head full of secrets, telling me apart. You got heaven and hell, and you make me choose. Okay, so the deuce is the shortest stack remaining. For Avenger has 8 blinds at the other table. He just shoved, and the deuce just called here. So both are at risk. And this is what I'm talking about. We see an SPR of 1, love to lose, leverages with a single bet size. Ends up getting it in bad, actually. And we are going to see a double here by the short stack. So now for Avenger, at the other table was shortest with 10. We are actually third shortest with 18, but we're not really in much danger right now. Kenton says, where can I find low to mid stakes range charts for tournaments and cash? I don't have lots of money to be buying full courses, etc. Would appreciate some help. Floptimal.com. They're the absolute best for MTTs, at least. You'll get optimal ranges. You actually get them for free. If you pay $30 a month, you get to see the responses by ranges, and you can just memorize them. So you may only need it for like 1 or 2 months. You just burst into tears. Loving you, We're out of towels, and I'm too old to be diving into lockers. Aren't you gonna cover yourself up? Give it up. You got your head in the hole. You got angels in the bathroom playing with your soul. You got heaven and hell, and you make me choose. And I can't stop loving you. I can't stop. Wow, this is crazy. The chip leader right now, 55 blinds. Love to lose. Amos Slade's at the other table with 53. And then we have 3 guys with 30. Everybody else has 20 or less. I guess 23 or less right here. And I can't stop loving you. Jesus Christ, Dorn. Don't give me this Olay bullshit. Every time you play one off the hip, I can't remember if it's push-ups or sit-ups. All right, we have a defend here. It's not fun defend, but it's a defend. Should face a lot of small bets here. We're going to get the peel. There we go. Nice little 5-ball corner pocket on the turn. More equity. Should see some checking come through here. Otherwise, some smallish bets. We're winning some of the time, but we can obviously still improve to a 10, 5, 8, or 7. This should also garner a check at a relatively high frequency. He could turn some hands like King X with the King of Clubs into a bluff. We have the majority of the 6X. We just lose to an ace, but we win other times. We beat that hand. We can beat the 3-5. Big pot, baby. Big pot. Let's go. Lost. Foldy fold. Stand in the fire, no, nobody's waiting for you. Schellenberger says, and here I thought the best way to lower your ROI is to run like Berkey. Big facts, man. Big facts. Nathaniel Morgan says, ironically, PLO tournaments play tighter than cash. Go figure. You're right. It's because there's no ante. Not gonna get frisky. minutes left. She came to me like an answer. I will continue playing. She made me lose my mind. How many entries were there? Just under 300 is the answer. Yours truly said, I'd love to see you play those guys sitting 25-50 or 10-20 heads up on PokerStars PA while you're in PA. I never bothered to get set up on PokerStars, sorry. What up, fish cakes? We gonna do it, man. We gonna do it. Eric's Adventure says, talk about how max tanking is the most positive EV thing you can do to instantly improve your ROI. Yeah, again, because SPR is generally so small in MTTs, tanking actually outweighs good poker ability. The idea being that you get dealt fewer hands than the rest of the field, meaning they take on much more variance than you do, meaning that they're at more risk to bust than you will be. Granted, you will never be chip leader, but in events like this where the chip lead is quickly erased by 2 all-ins, god damn it. We have to fold. This is kind of a shit spot. We maybe should have opened ripped. King 10's just like kind of a really weird hand there off 20 when we're 8 of 10, 7 of 10, whatever. Pass on that one. Yeah, so essentially, like, in these short stack events, or these low average stack type of tournaments, tanking just garners way more EV than even the ability to play well post-flop. Because there just isn't much post-flop play. So you're reduced to, like, push-fold poker, where there isn't much of an edge to gain. That said, it's obviously not in the spirit of the game. I'm not a very big fan of it, but if this were a super high roller, you bet your ass I'd be taking advantage of it. Everybody has a threshold. Myself, you just blame it on yourself. We do got merch. Just hit that hashtag merch. Okay, all in a call. Wow. Wow. This might be a punt. This may be an ICM punt. I didn't see the action. I think it went raise, call, jam. We are at the final table in any event. Let's fucking go, team. 7 of 9. Bracelet up top. 65 bones. Let's do it. We drew a really good seat draw. All of the stacks to our right. All the shorties to our left. Makes raising tough. We were going with that one, obviously. Be with her, I would go deeper. We'll be folding this one. Be with her, I would go deeper. Coy Jordan says, so if you're saying I need to widen my range due to escalating levels, does this mean that I should be wider at specific stack depths, certain junctures in the tournament, or all together? Basically all of those things. So due to the nature of antes, you'll be playing a slightly wider opening range, a slightly wider 3-bet range, and you'll be calling a little bit more frequently, specifically from the blinds. At certain junctures of the event, where blinds may escalate a little bit larger, so there are some big jumps, like we see a big jump from, like the next level is 1224, and then it jumps all the way up to 1530. That's a big jump. So it's very important for us to accumulate prior to the jump or take on the variance at the jump. So essentially, like, if we were in earlier stages, we would shift to accumulation during the 1224 phase and then try to ride through the variance of the 1530. But if we're failed to do that, then we have to recognize we're doing a lot of push folding at 1530. Okay, this will be an all-in if folded to. Pretty close here versus Loves to Lose is open. I think ICM probably dictates a fold. I don't hate a call. ICM be damned, it's a pure jam. Given that he's opening into these two stacks, I'm going to go with a call. I think this range probably plays a little bit tighter. And this is like unconventional. This is stuff that I tend to do that other players just don't. We do get a little bit of protection here by Drew being involved in the pot. We might see some more checking here I'd love to lose, though this board does favor his range pretty heavily. He does elect to check. That's great for us. Given the coverage that Drew will have here, he'll have a lot of pairs and gut shots. I don't think we want to start betting. We're just going to peel. Pretty unfortunate turn for our range specifically. I'm surprised to see Drew not lead there. He might just be nutted. He might have like some 6-4, 7-5. And just like have no desire to just get fold whenever he has such a big range advantage over the three of us, or over the two of us rather. Yeah, we're gonna have to elect to check back again. We're just hoping to make pair status and have it check to us, basically, which we failed to do. I'm really shocked to see Drew check this 3 times. We're just gonna lose to like ace high. I don't really think we have room to bluff here. The 2 doesn't help us. This board texture never helped us. Wow, Drew in the cut. I think he has a clear lead on the turn. Wow, ace king suited there for Love to Lose. So we were right, he was very strong. And now we get rewarded for our play. And I specifically say we get rewarded because now we have 14 blinds instead of 17 blinds. So we just get called more often when we're all in here. Which means that we actually might end this hand with 28 blinds instead of 16 blinds had we shoved off a lesser stack. Let's do it. Ah-yah. Alright, so we didn't get rewarded. Fact of the matter is, if we hadn't called the Queen Jack, we would have raised off that size, or off that stack. But in any event, like, ICM is just pretty tight here. It's funny, we actually get the availability to open because Move Blanket, i.e. Drew, is the only person who covers. I guess Never Muck does as well. But we're pretty tight. So if we had like ace high, king high there, we would have just raised, I think. Drew gets to do a lot of jamming in that spot. He's going to be able to separate himself from the field every time that these 3 elect to fold. And Love to Lose is in kind of a tough spot. He pretty much has to have hands in order to open because he has bandanas and Amos behind him. I would expect this to be a real hand. There's a place on the outside of town. So we are 7 of 9. 2 shorties left. Forces a fold here with this hand. I'm waiting down by the waterside. Just gonna have to fold. We're getting all the hands we would want to have if we had some sort of chip lead. Low down. If your home's in need of saving, there's a place on the outside of town. Blue heron, don't leave me. Shout out to everybody who's just joining. We appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. We are at another WSOP. Hey, we made our first bracelet final table this year. All my roommates and close friends outdid me. Conrad made 2. Corey Paget made 2. Matt Hunt made 2. Landon Tice made 2. Now I'm here. No, Landon only made 1. But whatever. Now I'm here. I finally made one. 65K up top. Would love to ship it. If you're new to the channel or if you're new to Solve for Why TV as a whole, please like, subscribe. It helps us a ton. It gives me reason to keep making this content. Also, if you're interested in our training content, we're currently giving away free subscriptions to Solve for Why TV. Just head over to solveforwhy.io. Use the sign-up code FREEMONTHAUG to get 30 days free subscription of our site. We're going to have to let this go. This might be a bit of an overfold, but with 4 blinds left, I think we need to stay out of trouble. This will be a jam if folded to, of course. It's very rarely going to fold to us, though. If you all are going to be playing the WSOP this fall, we have a warm-up course for you, a primer course of sorts. It's called the WSOP Homeschool. We have a slew of coaches, high-profile coaches. Jesse Sylvia, Russell Thomas, 2012 main event finalists getting 2nd and 4th respectively. They're going to be teaching lessons. Andrew Brokus of the Thinking Poker podcast, he's going to be teaching lessons. Myself, Matt Hunt, Landon Tice, all of Solve for Why, we are going to be teaching lessons. And finally, the Mad Queen, Charles, the madman himself from GG, has been crushing lately. He's going to be teaching the ICM portion of the curriculum. If you'd like to see what the curriculum entails, just go ahead and hit hashtag syllabus in the window. If you'd like to sign up, just hit hashtag homeschool. And you'll get a 20% discount code whenever you hit that hashtag homeschool in the chat. Don't leave me. Man, how unlucky we didn't river a jack or a queen that hand. How unlucky. Let's go. The deuce is all in. Oh no, he's got him pipped. He's got him pipped. Is there a 6? Nope. Stacks distribute. Now we're 8 of 9. We don't want to see chips move this direction. We want to see him move this direction. This is a muck. And we're mostly looking at rejams here because these 3 are going to be quite active. So our hand strength is going to have to be slightly higher. Okay, that's very likely going to do it for our 9th place finisher. Now ICM is less of a factor as we are 8 of 8. But more importantly, we're a double up away from being 4th or 3rd in chips. So very critical that we choose our hands wisely. And also understand that everybody here is at risk. Army Wife, only 20 big blinds. Very much so at risk. The Deuce, same thing. Very much at risk. Never Muck. Very similar stack to ours. Drew gets to do a lot of opening here, despite the chip leader being in the big blind. Maybe that's actually not true. Maybe he does have to be a little bit more critical. He does choose the size up due to the fact that the chip leader is in the big blind. Into the sea. Yeah, let's change the color to final table colors. No, I don't like that. Alright, let's go with orange. Oh, baby! Wow! GG Drew. May have leveled himself a little bit there. Got 3-bet by the big stack. Saw the big ICM implications. Said I have a suited ace. You're going to have to prove it to me, guy. And love to lose did have it. We get a little pay jump there. That's almost a 2K pay jump for us. Still patiently waiting. With the time. Patiently wait for our rush of cards. No. What she knows. Oh, what she knows, it's already gone. DK says, Berkey, if I sign up today, do I have 30 days worth of viewing time or does it end at the end of August? You get 30 days, DK, and you can actually cancel immediately. You don't even have to wait. So long as you cancel before your next payment date, you get the entire month for free with no obligation. Vaughn, a juvenile delinquent in the offseason. Sadly, we're just going to have to fold here. Probably a limp, but with ice. I mean, we do have traps. We do have traps. Half a blind here isn't going to kill us. Getting to see a flop is pretty massive. This hand does limp at equilibrium. We're going to have a massive ace-x advantage here whenever we do elect to limp. Start with one blind. He'll need equity to continue. Won't be a lot of, like, Jack 4 peels here. Queen of Hearts is a little spice. We have some equity with the 5 of Hearts, but it fills a lot of the middle of his range. And since we block a lot of the rest, like the 8-9s and 8-7s, we're going to start checking. He really shouldn't have many suited hands, so not a lot of flushes in this range. Maybe just some of the worst, like 2-4 of Hearts. 2-6 of 6 is out there. 7 deuce of hearts. Okay, now we should have a jack advantage here. Granted, this is a pretty overbluff spot, but we obviously have to go for it because we're holding 8 high. And we should be able to fold out a lot of his nothing. Oh. Let's go! That's a big one. That is a big one. So we'll fold out like bottom pairs there. Some 8 highs that dominate us. Some 9 highs that just win if we check. And potentially even some mistakes like 10x. It's a big pot for us to pick up. Honey, they shot you down. KZ Killer always on the hashtags. Appreciate you, man. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na. This is a big pot. Solar Boys USA says, I hope you win this thing, Berkey. I just busted in 9th. Very unfortunate, man. It was a good run. You were 4 Avenger. I saw you grinding out that short stack for such a long time. GG, my friend. GG. 4K is nothing to sneeze at. Honey. Yeah, you could say that Drew punted there, but I completely get where he's coming from, man. You just have a hand that has like pretty good blocking potential, and you expect the chip leader to just be doing certain things. It's a big pot for Nevermuck. The deuce is now short stack. Not for us. This is a good one. Blinds just went up. We're obviously reshoving here. We're going to need a hold, baby. Let's do it. 2 10s for the win. I feel really good about this one. Spade? 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 Spade, 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 spade. God damn it. Not heart. Not heart. Ah. We had him dead. 13. We can't really get cute. We just have to shove. I think with aces we could raise. That's about it. Everything else just jams. Let's go. Let's go. He has ace queen for sure. Ah. The old chop. Back-to-back chops. If we had just won both, we'd be chip leader right now. Ride it on. That's a lot of work to pick up one big blind. I guess we picked up 2.5. Blinds went up, baby. There's no room to breathe. I told you that's gonna be a big jump. Oh, good. They did add the level, so the next level goes 1224 to 1428. That's a big deal. Forget the curveball, Ricky. Give him the heater. It's the fold for us. Let's hope somebody calls. We want to see blood. Man, ace-3 spades just snaps. I'm pretty sure that's a fold there, to be honest. Shoving for 12. Let's go. Queen. Okay. Oh, no. Heart. 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 God damn it. They don't die. They don't die. Sweeping girls off the feet of the morning after. There's nothing we can do here. 9-4 off is obviously a fold. With some sinners in Mexico singing songs about life. We were just singing songs about life. dawn came around, and the sadness in our eyes was so profound. We sang, hey, we lost our faith in God, we lost our faith in man, and it doesn't look like we're gonna get on. All right, we're on break. I'm gonna give you a little bit more of On Second Thought.
The ace is probably a better card for Lynn than me. I could have some suited aces that don't 3-bet and then have to check call. Play like this. I think it's hard for me to even have a queen. My range is just so weak here. Problem is I can't win at showdown, so I need to select a size. I think really big makes sense. I shouldn't bet on the ace very often. I'm not repping very much though. Sometimes you just gotta mash it.
On the river ace of clubs, Jeremiah lands in a spot that we all know far too well. Stone bottom of range, with a favorable run out to your opponent. Let's examine a bit of what's at play when these dynamics present themselves. First, let's analyze how the ranges compare given the line taken thus far. What we can see is that when Lynn checks back the turn, she effectively caps her range, yielding in both an EV and equity swing in Jeremiah's favor. Suddenly, his range becomes the polarizing one. This is great news for 9 high, and as a byproduct, we can see that Jeremiah actually does bluff his entire range of nothing. The issue, of course, is that our nutted value, sets and straights, don't balance out all of our nothing. So now we need to be particular in which candidates we choose for the overbet sizing as bluffs, since we're limited on which hands we can bet for value. Because we want to bluff as many combos as possible for the large size, it has to be reflective of creating a 1-to-1 value to bluff ratio. Therefore, the solver prefers the 2x pot size over Jeremiah's selection of 1.33x. Furthermore, we'll have a lot of hands that we can both value bet and bluff for the 75% sizing, the majority of which being our ace-x and queen-x combos. Despite Jeremiah's hand class preferring the 75% size, we can see that his exact holding is the most aggressive of the bunch, and there is nearly no EV regret should he always choose these hands for the overbet strategy. The challenge, as we've already discussed, is finding a proper balance between the array of bluff candidates we have to choose from.
So he picks a pretty large bet there, signifying he basically has the nuts or nothing. He's actually going to raise a lot of his bets, but when he bets 160 into 130, I now have the decision of getting to call or fold. That ace hits me a reasonable amount. I don't know how much he thinks I'm betting my ace-x, like ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack on the flop. I really don't like folding, which is a bit problematic. I also unblock spades, which is really good, although having an 8 is kind of bad. Because it's, like when I have an 8, it means he has less combos, so 7, 8, 9. More than that, like the ace just looks like it's such a bad card for him to bet that like I wouldn't expect him to show up with a good hand much here. There's some chance that he thinks I go too thin on the turn for value. And more importantly, like, I'm not sure if I only call my ace-x, I'm calling enough. I don't think I have enough. He shouldn't have a ton of 2 pairs. I would expect to see some queen 10. And even then, I'm not really sure how many offsuit combos he should really have. A lot of his ace-x suited, I'm pretty sure, aren't mix. Yeah, I don't know. It really, really, really just depends on his pre-flop ranges. Based on what I've seen, I think he has more like middling missed gutters than I think, or than maybe I would have. And the only thing he's really betting for value are, I don't even know, like I don't even think he goes like 3x with this size. So I think he's telling me he has ace x and better. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's concerning with my image. Because I think people think I call too much, and I think I also actually call too much.
Lynn very thoroughly dissects this river spot and quickly identifies some key factors. First, she should have a fair amount of ace x in her range. As we can see, she's correct. The majority of her made hands through this line work are 10x combos, but second to that is ace x, which almost all purely call facing a bet.
We will reach that conclusion should there be another break. As is, we are going to be all in. Let's go, team. We got this. Grip it and rip it, baby. This one's getting through, for sure. Army wife doesn't have a call. If she does, unfortunately, we're going to flop a flush. So there's that to look forward to. Good chance she's not even back yet from break. Yeah, there's a very solid chance she's just not back from break. And we win. Big pot to pick up there. Anybody's ball game now. Let's fucking go. King Jack. Oh, man. Very good spot to be opening. We have 14. Play it safe. I don't like it, but suited I'm ripping, man. We're in there. We can't be jamming too much though. Or too many hands. I guess we could be, but we have to. The thing is, he snapped us with ace 3 of spades for 12. So jamming 14 with king jack off is a little bit not really great. It's just too probable that like he's just gonna beat us in with like a suited ace that we should have some fold equity against. He's definitely not overfolding is my point. Every night. Wow, what a great story. Donald Ranelli says, I was playing for a living in 2008 and living in Vegas. I played in a 2-5 game with a player that just did things at the table that I humbly realized I couldn't. I didn't know until years later that that player was Berkey. That warms my heart. Think you missed my comment earlier, but you should nail a pair of batting gloves to the wall every time you steal the blinds. I like it. Willie Mays Hayes style. They can ask me is what went wrong. I said my sin was easy. It's free and at least the pigs. What's so wrong with my life? Hey man, what's so wrong with my life? I may not have my faith in God or my faith in man. When it comes to loving my neighbor, I'm doing the best that I can. Don't need a cross, and I don't need a cross. If you guys enjoyed On Second Thought, as I've stated before, it's up on the Solve for Why TV site right now, solvefory.io. You can watch that for free. Just use sign-up code FREEMONTH AUG at checkout. And you get 30 free days of all of our content. Now pray for our 8s and let's fucking go. This is the double up hand. Ooh, I thought for sure this was going to fold to love to lose. Nevermuck should be rather strong here, but we have 2 8s and we're last in chips, so we will be putting them all in the middle. He does have a raising range here that isn't necessarily nutted. Oh, fuck. Oh, guys, we got to make a super nitty fold. A super nitty fold. You hate to see it. Wow. You just hate to see this. Oh, man. Ah, okay. Wow, we're the best! We're the fucking best! Let's go! We did it! We ladder! Let's go! Wow. I mean, honestly, I made that look way more painful than it was. We knew that he had to have a pretty strong range because he's opening into the chip leaders, you know, and that reshove should obviously be incredibly tight as well. Eights is just like not as painful as I made it seem. Chewy would have like chuckled and been like, huh, that's an easy fold. Not as easy for me. All right, this is a grip and rip it spot. Let's fucking go, baby. Now we get our double. All right, we'll take him. 6 of 6. Guaranteed some amount of money. I'm not even sure how much. Guaranteed 9,700. The trip is not lost. Easy fold. We'll have a defend versus an open here. Wow, what happened to Tony? I missed it. Oh, he lost. No? I'm not really sure. We do have a defend here with a suited queen. I was trying to time the algorithm so that we flop the nuts. I need to wait another second, so that was the 4 of clubs and the 5 of clubs. I do think we have a peel here, as uncomfortable as it may be. When we improve, it's hard for him to barrel twice. That is not what we're looking for. Literally would have taken any other card than an ace. Luckily, it's not the ace of clubs, because that would have been true nightmare. It's annoying. Blind versus blind, this will be a jam. Facing never mucks open, this is just going to be a fold. Listen to the wind speak before I speak. This is a jam if it folds to us. A lot of activity. Wrap their wings around you, shield you from the light. See those country visions. Okay, rip. This should be a call. Another ladder, barring a 10. Let's go. 5 of 5. Guys, I just want to state, we were 8 of 8, and we're now 5 of 5 without having doubled. Let's fucking go. You gotta grind these ladders, baby. Guaranteed 13-5 now. We're all in. This is a winner for sure. Jack? Just put it out there. It's coming. Jack, queen, 8. Doesn't matter. We win. Let's go! When you know, you know. When you know, you know. Jack, queen, 8. Doesn't matter. We win. Ace, king suited. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Four of 5 now. Oh. All in. Let's win. Let's win. Yes! Deuce! Deuce! God damn it! God damn it! How? Oh, we flopped him dead to runners. We flopped him dead to runners and he found them. God damn it. Man, that is a big pot. All right, we're back on the grind. We are back on the grind. Oh. That would have put us third in chips with 5 remaining. Okay, easy come, easy go. Let's go. Let's win. We dominate this hand for sure. 9? 9? 9 ace? 9 ace club. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Oh man, those 3s. That was so brutal. We're in a really great spot if we win those 3s. Okay, 5th place, 13,550. It's hard not to feel disappointed, man. It's hard not to feel disappointed, but we were 8 of 8. We grinded our way all the way up to 5th. We got lucky to get doubled up and actually have chips hitting R3. Well, what turned out to be an 11-outer. And then we didn't get there. We didn't get there. We had an open-ender. We had a chop out with club. Couldn't do it. The 3s versus ace king was pretty brutal. Flopped him dead to runners. He hit said runners. Needed exactly jack 10 or king pair. And he found the jack 10. What can we do, man? What can we do? If we hold there, we are 2 of 4. 3 of 4. 3 of 4. We would have locked up 19K. We would have had 27 big blinds with 4 people remaining and been in striking distance to actually win a first bracelet. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. Fortunately, we have one last crack at it tomorrow. The 3200 high roller event is popping off tomorrow at 5:30. I will be here with my 3 barrels, ready to rock and roll. We pick up a nice $13,500 score today. It's a good cushion, makes the trip a little bit more worthwhile. We can live with that. Tomorrow we're looking to smash them. I'm really hopeful that this gets 100 people. I'm thinking it's going to be more like 30 people, maybe 25. We'll see. In any event, I'm pretty excited to play it. Looking forward to one more day of streams before I head back to Las Vegas. Tonight, I'm going to go celebrate. I'm going to go do a little river walk on the North Shore, take a lot of pictures of Pittsburgh so that my heart can be full once I leave this precious, precious place of mine. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, check out solveforwhy.io. Again, you can get a full free month right now by using sign up free month AUG. Also, if you're interested in attending the WSOP homeschool that we're running September 7th through the 23rd, it's an online curriculum consisting of 12 classes taught by Andrew Brokus, myself, Matt Hunt, Landon Tice, Jesse Sylvia, Russell Thomas, and the Mad Queen, Charles, from GG Poker, who will be doing all the ICM calculations at the end. It's $12.50 retail, but if you use the hashtag homeschooled in the chat, you could save 20% and get it for $1,000. We are taking signups now, so please do not hesitate. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It was a hell of a ride. We're going to get them next time, I swear. Till tomorrow, peace.